fun, didn't it? They do a fantastic job week after week, and every bowler that comes will attest to that. Run a fine, fine tournament.
Uh-oh.
Paul not faring too well on the first ball of the match, going high and leaving the 4-6-10. Not the way you want to start the game.
Paul at the age of 20. He's married. He averages .227.
Wisely takes 2, since it's virtually an unmakeable split. Seen it made once or twice, I think, in like 25 years. But the smart
you have
thing
made
to do,
it? I've never even seen it made.
Yeah. It's not a good percentage shot, Jen. Let's put it that way. In match play competition, take the 2 pins and try not to do it again.
Boy, he was flirting with that gutter.
Ron Bohnert, lane 20, his first delivery of the match, lefty against lefty, also does not fare too well. He leaves the 3-6-7-9, not one we're used to seeing. Now the object here, Jen, would be to, of course, throw that 3-pin over into the 7-pin slot, let the 6-pin careen over into the 9. Like 2 combinations here. This is a tough one. Watch. A little bit too much of the 3-pin.
You know, that ball almost did fall in the gutter. Got very close, and I think had it fallen in the gutter, he would have had a lot better chance of a spare.
Yeah,
Needless to say, though, we have open in our first frame. But these are 2 high-caliber bowlers, and you can be sure they're going to correct it.
Ron Bohnert, left-hand lane. After starting with an open, comes back with a much better shot here. That's the kind he's been throwing with regularity to make our telecast again. Take a look at it here. Last frame, he flirted with the channel. This frame, he's out there around the 5th board. But that's as far as it goes. Rips right back. 10 in a pit. That's what you want to see. Paul Masminster, right-hand lane. Really uncorks with a shot. Dynamite ball. His record speaks for itself. 6 299s, 5 300 games, 3 800 series.
Of which the highest is 834.
Shake it off, Paul.
That's a nice total.
Fabulous. And was talking to some people out at Stewart Decatur this week, and Ralph Chalk was there, and he said, yeah, Paul bowls in our league, and he was real informative about the talents of Paul Masminster. And he said his son had an accomplishment this week. We'll tell you about it in a minute after we watch this absolutely devastating strike. Paul, left-hand lane, issues a challenge to Ron Bohnert. I can throw pins around too. Head pin, center of your screen, goes to right-hand wall. It comes off, but everything's gone already.
That's about as strong as it gets right there.
Total annihilation. But anyway, Ralph's son, Ken, had back-to-back 300 games 2 weeks ago for an 801 series. And that puts him in a very, very exclusive club of back-to-back 300 throwers.
You've got it.
So congratulations, Ken. Our match is all tied up. Both players, after opening the match with opens, both come back with double, Jen.
Yeah, they made good corrections, and I wouldn't be surprised to see one or the other start stringing them. By the way, Walt Sweeney's brought us a car today. I believe it's a Mustang. I haven't got out to check it out yet, but that's in case of a 300 game. Now, we won't see it today, but with shots like that, you never know. What a break.
Smiling on him today. Look at you. Better be ashamed, Ron Bohnert. Take a look at this one. You want to see ugly? This ball is ugly. It goes right straight through the heart. That's a 2-pin going to the left-hand channel. That's a 3-pin coming off the right-hand wall, and it takes out the 4-7. He's still smiling. Ron's a nice fellow. Well, Paul.
Almost identical.
Paul said, well, if it worked for Bohnert, maybe it'll work for me. I'll throw one through the nose, too. Didn't fare quite as well, though. Leaves the 4-pin.
You know, when you do get a great break like that, especially on a double, it's so important that you take advantage of that and get the next one and make it a four-bagger, and then the advantages are unbelievable.
Well, especially when he gets to sit down for a few minutes, gets to regain his composure. Paul brings back the spare, and he's 11 pins in the rears right now, trailing Ron Bohnert.
Next week in the finals, we have a first place prize of $1,600 and $800 to the second place player for the day. And of course, all the gentlemen will roll off, and they'll take the top 5 players to play on the show.
We're going to be giving away a lot of cash next week. I hope everybody tunes in for that, because not only is the purse going to be very, very high, but we're going to be giving away some gold ball stuff too, $1,200. And that's it for right now, but don't go away. We'll be right back with some action. We've got a match. Stay tuned. We are back. Lots of action yet to go here in our second to last week in the men's division. And after that, don't go away, because we've got some junior competition coming your way. We've got some lovely ladies that throw fantastic games periodically, as Jennifer knows very well. She's been on the receiving end of a few good match play games, huh?
Oh, absolutely. The caliber of women bowler in this city every year is it's just exploding. It's amazing. Women that I never thought would ever be competition for me, all of a sudden have been out there, they've been practicing, and quite frankly, they're getting very hard to beat.
Amen to that. Young players in our division are getting tougher. The women's scores are elevating. Even the juniors are getting better year after year. And Ron Bohnert comes back with his spare. I've only seen a couple of those. Missed gentleman that we've talked about a few weeks in a row here has joined us, Terry Flynn from the Enquirer. He's a guy that writes up nice articles about bowling from time to time.
And there's a lot of bowlers that are very happy about that. I read his extra section every week.
Ron Bohnert, left-hand lane. That's what he can do so well. Strike and strike again. 108 in the fifth frame for Ron. And Paul Masminster can get right back in this match. If he throws the next 2 strikes, he will also have 108. So this match is within 10 pins before he throws this ball. And it's in the area. A little light that time.
Think you threw that ball a little bit harder than the other ones? Or?
You know, I'd really like to have Cincinnati Police Department come up one time and give us a shot of this ball going down there. Is this ball speeding? Well, I don't know, but it sure doesn't finish the way his ball is used to finishing. And an easy spare. Cross
He's got
lane.
that strong forward roll. You know, not only does he get the side roll, but that ball is rolling so hard end over end forward down the lane.
Well, we mentioned it last time he was on the show. His record's incredible. He's got a lot of scores. He's a young man with a lot of potential left. And it's hard to sit back and critically look at anything he does. But if I had to pick something, I would say if he works on speed control to try to develop a consistent speed, that'll make him a force to be reckoned with for many, many years in this town. Paul strikes on the left-hand lane, and we have a 10-pin match.
Real quick, I'd like to congratulate Sammy Coleman. The BPA gave him an achievement award for 30 years of service to the game of bowling. And he's here week after week giving us statistics. And I'm telling you, this man doesn't forget anything. He can tell you things from 20, 30 years ago that are of great value.
And I want to, just a moment, thank the viewers, sent me in a very interesting book. We'll cite that in just a moment. But Ron Bohnert comes back with his double on the right-hand lane, increasing his lead now at this point to 20 pins. There's Sammy right there. Sam, I tell you what, you've got a lot of fans out there. We want to thank you for all your service, as did the BPA. He's always feeding me and Jennifer some facts from week to week, and Stan Brinkman at home. Thanks a lot, Stan, for sending me that old book, even yellowed with age, with some stats in it, and Sammy's picture was in there as being one of the premier bowlers in the Cincinnati area years and years ago.
Yeah, my dad's told me many stories about Sammy, how just week after week, and he was incredible in match play, I understand. Right there, very consistent, and the pressure just never got to him.
Pressure's not getting to Paul Masminster either. He just throws it right up there. Tries to keep that lead at the 20-pin mark. Take a look at it at the score. There you see it. It's 20 pins right now. But Paul can cut that to 10 if he strikes in the all-important 9th frame. Mr. Heflin, yes. I'd say we're surrounded by greats here.
We are.
Ooh. Week 7 that time.
That hurt. That really hurt. The 9th frame, he really needed that strike to maintain, his 20-pin deficit at least, and he really needed that to better it. But with the 9th and 10th up for Ron Bohnert, you really never know what can happen. But he really needs the spare.
Spare is absolutely crucial. You're right, Jen. There we go.
There he is. A possibility of 217 if he strikes all the way out.
Ron Bohnert at this point is already going at
228 pace.
About a 238 pace.
38.
And he'd really have to give a lot of help to Paul to let him back in this match. This is as consistent as I've seen Ron Bohnert on our telecast so far this year. Looks like he's focused on what he's trying to do today.
A little high.
Keeping the ball in play, Jen, I think is what we're seeing right here. Ron knows that if he keeps the ball in play and throws it around the pocket like this shot, he's going to be our winner. And this ball goes out, rolls back nice and cleanly, a little bit too much of the head pin there, and the 3-pin just the wrong angle to take out the 6.
This is the spare he missed before, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I wasn't going to mention it.
Well, he made it since then, so he redeemed himself.
Okay. Ball came a long way, but cleanly took out the 6. Going into that all-important 10th frame, any sort of a mark, and he will close out Paul. Ron Bohnert knows that this is a big shot, taking a little extra time here, as we'll probably see quite a bit next week on our final show. Fellas are going to be bowling for a ton of money.
That's the way you mark.
Oh, look at the intensity on that. That was the put-away shot. Had to have that so he can move on to the next match for sure. Watch it here. The intensity is evident. Ron Bohnert wanted this one, and he gave it a little extra. 1-2 pocket, you're out of here. 5-pin, take a hike. Head pin, double tripper. Well, without throwing another ball, he has 217, so if he gets anything on these next 2 deliveries, and there it is, he goes on to our championship match of our final week of regular bowling here on the BPA King.
And of course, our king is Dave Colerain, who's averaging 233 through 9 games on TV.
Oof. That's why he's cashing those big checks every week.
Right.
227 it is for Ron Bohnert.
A lot of people speed their ball up a little bit on spares. I notice Ron throws it pretty slow.
Actually throws it slow on any of these shots where hooking won't affect his making the spares.
Right.
And for him, that would, of course, be any right-hand spares.
And he's going to end the way he started, it looks like.
Got an open sandwich here. Didn't make any difference. Paul was just kind of getting out of the way.
I love that, an open sandwich. I'm going to have to remember that.
Don't ever order one.
I'll give you full credit, though.
Don't ever order one.
Oh, no.
Detrimental to your score, that's for sure. Paul Masminster, he's been around for a while, and he's given us a couple of good games. Not faring quite so well today. 193. The hot hand today, Ron Bohnert. 227. We'll go on to our championship match. Don't go away. We'll be right back.